Hey guys, what's up? It's the Dark Phoenix Gamer here, and today I've got my Raidraptor deck profile for you. I've had a lot of fun with this deck in the past, and I thought that I might show you a deck list, well, deck profile, just in case any of you wanted to build it and test out for yourselves. So let's get straight into it. So first off, running 3 Vanishing Lanius. This card is the main card of the deck that you want to run, because as soon as it's normal special summoned, you can special summon another level 4. So what you want to try and do is go normal this, special this effect, special this effect, special something else. Which is really good for going straight into your rank 4 plays. Next we're running 3 Fuzzy Lanius. Simply because if you control another Raidraptor such as Vanishing Lanius, you can special summon it. And as soon as this card is sent to the graveyard, from anywhere, as long as it's from the field to the graveyard, you can add another copy to hand, which is very good. So definitely run 3 of that. Next, 3 Mimicry Lanius. Mimicry is very good because once per turn you can increase all Raidraptors on the field by 1 level. So say you don't have any rank 4s left in your extra deck, simply put everything at level 5 and go straight into your rank 5 plays. And also when this is a graveyard, as long as it was sent there this turn, you can banish it and add any Raidraptor card to hand, except for Mimicry Lanius, which is very, very handy. After that, we're running 3 Singing Lanius. Singing is very good because if you control a face-up Xyz monster, then you can special summon this card from your hand. However, you can only do this once per turn. So I'm running 3 of it, simply because each turn I can special summon it and go into another rank 4 play. So it's very good, so run 3. Next up, 3 Avenge Vulture. Avenge Vulture is really good because as soon as you take damage, any damage, whenever, you can special summon it from your hand. However, the only drawback is you can only special summon monsters from the extra deck that are Raidraptors. Although the extra deck is mainly Raidraptors, so it is a very good card to run. And rank 4. Next up, triple Pain Lanius. Pain Lanius is very good because if you only have 1 level 4 in hand, you can use this effect. You take damage equal to whichever stat is lowest, attack or defense. So say you have Avenge Vulture on field. If you have Pain Lanius in hand, you can take 100 damage because that's what starts the lowest. Special summon this card, becomes a level 4. So it's very good for going into your rank 4 / whatever level players. So yeah, I really recommend playing 3 of this card. Next up, I run 2 Sharp Lanius. Sharp Lanius is very good because it's a level 4 with 1700 attack, 1000 defense. Its effect is when it's normal special summoned, you can choose target up 1 face-up attack position monster your opponent controls, switch to defense position, and in main phase 2, if it attacked, you get special summon any Raidraptor from your graveyard. So you could summon Ultimate Falcon, which is kind of broken. So yeah, I run 2 of this. Very good card. Next, I run 2 Booster Strix. Booster Strix is very good. It has low attack, unfortunately, but good defense. Its effect, if I can get this to focus, when a Raidraptor monster you control is targeted for an attack by an opponent's monster, banish this card from your hand and destroy the attacking monster. So, if a Raidraptor monster you control is being attacked by anything your opponent controls, then, as long as it's a monster, banish that card from hand, destroy the attacking monster, which is very, very handy in tight spots. So yeah, run 2 of the card. Next up, double Napalm Dragonius. Napalm Dragonius is a very good card because, yes, it has moderate attack and defense, but each turn it burns your opponent for 600, but then it does restrict you from it using effects other than Raidraptor effects. However, when it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one Raidraptor monster from the deck, but its effects are negated. So, it's actually very, very good card. So my recommendation, run 2 of it. And finally for the main deck monsters, the last card I run, 1 Lastrix. You only need 1 of these because it's mainly for your first turn Ultimate Falcon, but it's very good because if you look at its effect, when a Raidraptor monster you control battles while having any spell trap cards on your field or in your graveyard, during damage calculation in either player's turn, you can special summon this card from your hand and gain 100 life points for each spell trap card you control in your graveyard. And then for the second effect, you contribute it, Your opponent takes no battle damage on this turn, and you can special summon one Raidraptor Xyz monster from your extra deck in defense position, but its effects are negated and returns to the extra deck at the end phase, which is very good for going Satellite Falcon, rank up into Ultimate Falcon. Although I do hope we get a rank 12, or at least 11 Raidraptor soon, which would be very good because I can just go Ultimate Falcon, rank up. But yeah, I only run one of this because you don't really need to run another one. So yeah, one of this. Now for the spells. 3 Raptor's Ultimate Mace. This card is good because when equipped to a Raidraptor monster, can only be equipped to a Raidraptor monster. It gains 1,000 attack points, and if the equipped monster is targeted for an attack by a monster with higher attack, you can simply add 1 rank up magic spell card from your deck to your hand, and if you do, you take no battle damage from that battle, which is very handy. So definitely run 3. Next up, rank up magic Raptor's Force. The entire deck is basically based around ranking up. This card ranks up a Raidraptor Xyz monster by 1 rank when an Raidraptor Xyz monster is destroyed and sent to the graveyard. When it's destroyed, when a Raidraptor Xyz monster is destroyed, you can activate this and target any Raidraptor Xyz monster in the graveyard, special summon it, and then special summon 1 Raidraptor that is 1 rank higher with that as material. So I only run 2 of these because it's good, but it's not great. It's not a great late game. Next up, 2 Raid Force. This is essentially the same, except its secondary effect is that when it's in the graveyard, you can banish this card and one other Raidraptor card from hand. Target any rank up magic apart from Raid Force and add it back to hand. The only difference between this and Raptor's Force is that this is not a quick play, and you do this just straight up in your main phase. So yeah, 2. Definitely 2 of this card. Next up, 2 Doom Double Force. Doom Double Force is really good because it's a quick play. And basically, you activate it, target 1 Raidraptor Xyz monster in your graveyard that was destroyed by battle this turn. Special summon it, and then special summon from your extra deck 1 Xyz monster that has twice the rank. So yeah, basically great for going into Ultimate Falcon on your second turn essentially. You make Blaze, Stranger, and then set this, have it destroy by battle next turn, Doom Double, go straight into Ultimate Falcon. Great, so definitely run 2. Next up, Double Swallow's Nest. Swallow's Nest is very good because you tribute a Winged Beast type monster and special summon 1 Winged Beast type monster from your deck with the same level. So definitely run 2. Next up, Double Astral Force. This card could potentially be switched out for Skip Force, which I only run 1 of, because this card, it's the highest rank only, but they both go up by 2 ranks, so it really depends what you want to play. Honestly, I prefer Skip Force to Astral Force, so when possible I'm going to trade these 2 out for 2 more of these, because this card is godly when it comes to Raidraptors. Yeah, currently I run 2 of this and 1 of this. Next up, Raidraptor Call. This card is good because if this card special summons 1 Raidraptor monster you control from the deck, a copy of it from the deck, in defense position. And also you can only activate 1 per turn, so I only have 1. But it's really good if you're in a tight spot, so I only run 1 of this. You can run up to 3 if you want, but I prefer to run 1 because it works. After that, I run 1 Raidraptor Nest. I only run 1 Nest because if you run more than 1, it's kind of useless because you can only activate it once per turn. And if you control 2 more Raidraptors, you can add 1 Raidraptor monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is very, very handy. So yeah, run 1 because you don't need the other 2. Next, Cattle Call. Cattle Call is really good because you send 1 face-up monster you control to the graveyard, whose type is Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast. And then special summon 1 monster from your extra deck with the same type, but it cannot attack and its effects are negated. And it's destroyed during the end phase. Good, especially if you want to go into the early game Ultimate Falcon players. I only run 1 because it's kind of an emergency card, but it's fun to use every now and then. So yeah, run 1. For the last spell, I run 1 MST. I could change out Cattle Call for another MST, or change MST for a Twin Twisters. I just run an MST as like a staple card because, you know, you might just need to pop something in back row. Say like, I don't know, Sinister Yashiro or something like that. Just annoying cards really, or something to do with Monarchs. But yeah, 1 MST. Now for the traps, 3 Raidraptor Readiness. This card's kind of essential because when it's activated, Raidraptor monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle for the turn. And if I have a Raidraptor monster in my graveyard, you can banish it, and I take no damage this turn. So yeah, definitely run 3. Next up, Xyz Reborn. This is good for getting your Satellite Cannon Falcon back if you've used it for an Xyz material or anything really, because this special summons one from your Xyz monster from your graveyard and attach this as material, which is very, very handy. So yeah, I just run 1 of this. And finally for the traps, 1 Raptor's Gust. This is good because if you control a Raidraptor card and the spell trap card is activated, then you can negate the activation and destroy it. So yeah, run 1. Now for the extra deck, I run 2 Blade Burner Falcon. The only reason I run 2 of it is because its effect is kind of situational. If your opponent has 3k life points higher than you, this gets plus 3k. So yeah, it gets 4k only, which is very good, and if it destroys a monster with battle, then you can detach any number of Xyz material from this card and destroy exactly that amount of monsters. So yeah, I only run 2. Next up, I run 2 Rise Falcon. Very good card because I'm not sure the actual ruling on this, but the card says that once per turn you can detach a material to take the attack points of one of your opponent's special summon monsters. It doesn't say that it goes back to normal at the end of the turn, so I just play it as it takes it constantly, so it just keeps going up and up and up. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. If it isn't, let us know what the actual ruling is, but that's the way I play it, and I really like the card, so I run 2. Next, I run 1 Blaze Falcon. Very simple. You can attack directly with an Xyz material, and if it deals battle damage, destroy 1 monster your opponent controls, detach 1, destroy as many special summon monsters your opponent controls as possible, and inflict 500 points of damage for each one. Next up, Stranger Falcon. It's an okay card. I don't really use it that much, but there's its effects. This can focus. If you just want to read that, because I can't really be bothered to read it because I don't really use it, and it's not my kind of card, but if you just want to read it, go ahead. So yeah, I run 1 Stranger Falcon, just for the fact it's a rank 5 and it only requires 2 level 5 monsters, which in my opinion, very handy. But yeah, 1 Stranger. Next up, 2 Revolution Falcon, very good card. If detach 1, attack every single monster. If it attacks an opponent's special summon monster, its attack and defense becomes 0 during the damage step. And also, if it has a Raidraptor Xyz monster's material, once per turn you can destroy 1 monster your opponent controls and deal half that damage as, well, half that attack points as damage. Very good, so I run 2. Next up, I run 1 Satellite Cannon Falcon. I don't really use this card for its effects, which are there. I only really use it to go into Ultimate Falcon, but it's a very good card. So if you want to read the effects, there it is. Yeah, I run 1 of it, and it's, to be fair, it's quite expensive, to be fair. That's why I only run 1 of it. Finally, for the last of the Raidraptor cards in the extra deck, 2 Ultimate Falcon. Very, very good. This is pretty much the big card of the deck. Not really a win condition, but it is very handy to use. Detach 1, make your opponent's monsters lose 1,000 attack points. And during the end phase, if you have a Raidraptor monster's material, make all monsters your opponent controls lose 1,000, and if your opponent controls no face-up monsters, inflict 1,000. So yeah, very good, so I run 2. And it's a 35k beat stick. Not 35k. 3,500 beat stick. So yeah, run 2. For the rest of the extra deck, you can run whatever you want, but I choose to run 1 Ice Princess Zerial, Castel, Gaia Cowboy, and Dark Rebellion. These cards are just personal preference, just for the extra rank 4 players and the extra rank 5. You can really run whatever you want, but this is just my personal preference, just the fact this shuffles back in or turns face down, this burns or gains attack points, this steals attack points, and this reduces attack points to 0. So yeah, they are good cards in my opinion, but you can really play whatever you want. So yeah, those are the extra cards I play. You can use whatever you want, but it's up to you. So yeah, that's my Raidraptor deck profile. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you want, subscribe and comment what you want us to see do next. You can share it with your friends if you want, favorite. If you did enjoy this and you want to pick it up, I really recommend it because it is a very fun deck. However, in the new link format, it's probably not going to do that well. Although you could probably build it so it only uses 1 Xyz at a time and you just keep ranking through them. But yeah, it's a very good deck, very fun to use, and I've had quite a bit of success with it in the past, and recently, actually, against a Sacred Beast U Bell deck, which was quite good, and really fun to be fair. So yeah, that's it for today guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.